That Sober Guy podcast contains adult content, merciless truth, and emotional nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
Yo, what's up? Thank you for tuning in today. Thanks to Humans for bringing us in. Thanks to you for supporting the show. I am Shane Raymer. Shane Raymer. You're listening to That Sober Guy podcast. Are you guys fucking glad I don't talk like that? What if I did talk like that? I saw a comment the other day and someone said, he has podcast voice. And I went, podcast voice? What the fuck is that? I don't have podcast voice. That would be podcast voice or radio voice to me. So I don't have that. So whoever you are that wrote that, fuck you. Take that. Yeah, that's a good way to start the show, huh? Well, I'm Shane Raymer. You're listening to That Sober Guy podcast. And we don't give a fuck about you or anybody else. And I'm just kidding. We do. We love you. We love you guys. We do. And we help people stay sober. We also talk about drugs, alcohol, recovery, some other random shit. We like to have some fun in the process, have a good time, talk a little smack. You know it. We're going to talk about opening day baseball today. We're going to talk about getting my ass kicked in front of a crowd of people at CrossFit. Oh yeah, that was fun. We're going to talk about skateboarding and riding Mongo. Who knew about riding Mongo? Does anybody know about that? Riding Mongo. I had never heard of it. And we're going to talk about what Mongo is. We're going to talk about skateboarding. Cash and my little cousin Nolan is blind. He had retinoblastoma, I think is how you pronounce it. Forgive me if I slaughtered that. But basically had to have both eyes taken out, and the dude shreds the gnar on the skateboard. I posted a video of it up on Instagram, so you can check it out there. Him and Cash skateboarding around. But we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then what does this have to do? All of this stuff, baseball, getting my ass kicked at CrossFit, skateboarding, blind skateboarding. It has to do with stepping out and doing shit that makes you feel uncomfortable. And we're going to talk about that and how it relates to recovery today. But first, before we do that, be sure to check us out at thatsoberguy.com. You can also connect with us on Instagram at RealThatSoberGuy and on Twitter at Shane Raymer. Yes, Shane Raymer, at Shane Raymer. I still don't know how to use Twitter. Let's do this real quick. It's not a beer, I promise. It is a Bang, a cherry limeade. Oh, I'm sorry, cherry blade lemonade. Bang, let's take a sip. Oh, if Jess ever listens to this, she'll love that. I'm going to do it again for her. Hey, guys. Today I'm going to be drinking a Bang. It's a cherry blade lemonade. ASMR. If Bang wants to sponsor our show, feel free to do so. You can contact us. Just kidding. But you can contact us at RealThatSoberGuy on Instagram, once again. And Twitter, at Shane Raymer. I already said that, but why not say it again? What the hell? So that was totally in the moment because my kids, believe it or not, they're into this ASMR shit. And I guess it's a thing right now, not just with the kids, but everywhere, where people eat food and they do it on the microphone. And it is disgusting. I can't believe I just did that to myself. I don't know that I'll be able to listen actually to this episode. I'm going to have to probably fast forward that. As I was doing it, it didn't bother me, but hearing it back is really weird and disgusting. So if you're into ASMR, what is wrong with you? Why would anybody enjoy that stuff? I don't really get it, but it is kind of comedy. So yes, I'm drinking a Bang and it's pretty good. And I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, and we're going to come back to this in just a second because I got off track with the weird ASMR. I think that's what it is. Let me talk a little bit first about Foundations Recovery Network. Now, finding the right treatment for addiction and for mental health illnesses can be tough. And there's a lot of shitty people out there. I'm just going to say that first and foremost. So when you reach out to somebody, you want to know that they're valid, that they have a great reputation, that you know somebody who's worked with them, who has been to treatment, who's worked with people in treatment, who's worked with the team there. And that's why we've continued to partner with Foundations Recovery Network because we trust them, because they do a phenomenal job, because they actually care. Now, they stay true to their mission. They hold high ethical standards, and they provide treatment in a nationwide network. They have both residential and outpatient programs. They have individualized treatment plans, and they're focused on creating lifetime relationships for long-term recovery. Here's another part of this vision that I think is so important. Not only have they built the industry's leading research and outcomes program, they're going to fulfill the commitments to the patient, but not only the patient, but also their loved ones too, and help meet their personal goals as well. So you're going to be well taken care of. Once again, I promise if you call Foundations, you're going to get some questions answered, and they'll give you some great info. And that's why we continue to partner with them, because they're great people. So to learn more, you can go to foundationshelp.com/sober guy, or you can call 833-81-SOBER. That's 833-81-SOBER. You can talk with an admissions coordinator about treatment options. Speaking of Foundations, we're going to be at the Innovations in Recovery Conference podcasting live April 16th through the 19th in San Diego at Hotel Del Coronado. Good times there. Lots of live podcasting going on, hooking up with some great people, spreading the good word of recovery. If you want some information about that or any of Foundations events, you can go to foundationsevents.com and you can check those out there. Let's see. We have some live podcasts coming up. Actually, one coming up next week, April 6th. That's at Journey Coffee in Vacaville. We'll have special guests. We're going to talk about recovery, of course. We're also going to talk about some parenting, some entrepreneurship, motivational shit, whatever that looks like. I don't know. I'm just trying to motivate you guys. I'm just trying to not only motivate you guys, because I can't really make anybody do anything, really motivate my ass too, like to help stay motivated, to help stay sober, to help stay in this positive realm, positive environment. I know for me, for the longest time, my brain has been conditioned to consistently go to the negative side of things. So this recovery life, this lifestyle is a constant work. And I am always having to remind myself, that I don't have to go to the negative side of stuff. And I can look at the positive. I can see the glass half full. And it's a much better way to live my life, number one. I hope that makes a little bit of sense to you too, because I know there's a lot of other people out there who struggle with it, as do I. But at the same time, people ask me, well, why do you do these live events? Why do you still, why do you put in all this work on the podcast? Why do you still go to meetings? Because this shit is a lifelong lifestyle. It's not just something, hey, I'm going to be sober and then everything's going to be great. It doesn't work like that, and do I have it all figured out? Absolutely not. But that's why I'm grinding in on it every single day. So I also, actually, let me give you a couple more of the show dates too, in case you're in the Bay Area, Sacramento area, or if you wanted to come out to Cali for a show too. And if you ever did that, please let me know. Hit me up and say, hey, I'm coming from out of state. We'll make some special arrangements so we can hook up for that too. But the other show dates, we have April 6th, we have May 11th, June 1st, July 6th, and August 3rd. Those are all, with the exception of the May 11th date, they're all the first Saturdays of the month. So if you'd like to check out a live Sober Guy show, we have Q&As, we'll have some special guests. We're going to party sober. We're going to have a good time, drink some bomb-ass coffee. Thanks to Journey Coffee Company in Vacaville for letting us come out. So look out for that in the weeks to come. We'll be promoting that. We'll have some updates as to who the guests are as we do that on Instagram and Twitter. Okay, I get a lot of questions also about early sobriety. What do I do? Where do I go? What don't I do? How do I stay sober? I don't have all the answers. So I created a course, a podcast video course. It's called How to Navigate the First 90 Days of Sobriety. It's got some of my friends, some of my colleagues in there, and we're discussing in each chapter, each segment, what is the first thing that they did in their first 90 days? Or from a doctor's perspective, what are some of the things that you're seeing clients come in who are struggling with addiction do in their first 90 days? And then, of course, sharing some of their expertise in that field and what it is that they specialize in, whether it's coaching or from a physician standpoint or from a podcasting standpoint, and just finding something that you enjoy to do and you're in recovery, from traveling, from a book, an author. We have authors on there as well who've written books and created their own platforms in order to help kind of like I did, I guess, with Sober Guy. I mean, this thing has helped me stay sober big time. So how do you find your purpose? How do you find some passion in being, or in caring, about what you do? And I think for me, that's been a huge thing to fuel me through recovery each day, because I really do wake up and enjoy each day. Have my days, don't get me wrong. Some days, man, I want to bang my head against a brick wall, no doubt. But for the most part, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't live like that anymore. It's a complete change from 5.5 years ago. So anyways, what the hell does that have to do with the course? I don't fucking know, but you can get it right now at thatsoberguy.com. You can click on courses. You can go there. There's a little promo video on there. I'll give you a little quick insight into what it's about. Also, I don't think I've mentioned this in the last couple of episodes, but I want to give the podcast away, I want to give the course, how to navigate the first 90 days of sobriety. I want to give it away for free to all veterans. So if you're a veteran out there and you're struggling right now, or you have a family member who's a veteran and they're struggling, trying to stay sober, please hit me up and we can make some arrangements, and I can hook you up with a promo code for the course. Once again, that's at soberguy.com. Click on courses. Okay, so let's get into this today. We're going to talk about opening day baseball. Like I mentioned, we're going to talk about some CrossFit, some skateboarding, and then stepping out and doing shit that makes you feel uncomfortable. Like quit crying and get uncomfortable. How hard is it? I know it's very hard. It's not something that we want to do. Who the shit wants to be uncomfortable? I mean, I know I don't like being uncomfortable, but you know what I've realized? When I'm not uncomfortable, I'm stuck. When I'm not uncomfortable, I'm stuck. When I'm not uncomfortable, I'm in my safe zone. And I'm very, very comfortable. I'm almost so comfortable, I don't even want to go outside. How can I grow if I'm not uncomfortable? When I was drinking and using drugs, I was extremely comfortable to some extent. I knew what I was going to do. I had my routine down, and I could numb myself to everything. I could numb myself to every emotion, to every pain, to every joy. It didn't matter. I was very, very comfortable. I had a lot of thoughts and a lot of aspirations and a lot of dreams and visions about what I would, could, should do. As my homeboy Christian said, I shoulda all over myself. And I think he got that from Anthony Robbins, I believe. But I love that line. I shoulda all over myself. That's what I did for a long time. I should have all over myself for years. I could do this. I could do that. Sit and daydream, just hammered, at 3 a.m, talking about, I just fucking did this shit. I could have fucking this person. It's all their fault. The whole victim mentality. It's comedy when you really think about it. Like, here's what I learned. Shane Raymer, nobody's going to do shit for you but you. Nobody is going to do shit for you but you. That's it. Now, do we all need some help? Absolutely. Man, I've had so many good people in my life, family and friends, that have helped me out, that have helped us out as a family, through this whole thing. But at the end of the day, when it really comes down to it, nobody is going to do anything for me but me. And definitely, to extend further than that, nobody is going to help me if I'm not helping myself. So it has to start from within. Just like Noah Levine says in one of my favorite meditation sessions that I plug on here often, it's called Ease with Everything on a Meditation Studio app. Happiness is an inside job. I got to work on me first before I can please anybody else, before I can make anybody else happy. And really at the, I just said that, and I actually don't really believe that. I can't really please anybody else. I can't make anyone else happy. And there's a good example of that right there. Even that conditioned thinking that it still comes up. I know that that's not the case because people have to make themselves happy. Now, how do you do that? I don't fucking know. I say it all the time. I don't have all the answers, but here's what I do know. I do know that for me, staying comfortable is not a good place to be. And here's kind of the caveat to that. When I get uncomfortable, I can freak out sometimes. How many of you listening right now freak out when shit is not going your way? When it's uncomfortable, you start getting anxiety. You start feeling like, oh man, like what is going on right now? Change is coming. Like I know for me, I can feel change when it's coming. Whether I know change is coming or not, I can feel it in my gut before anything. I'm wondering if anyone else feels that. That's what that is. It's intuition. It's your gut. It's God. It's, something higher than us. I don't know what it is to be exact, but I know I can feel it. And I only say that because I want to be open about the fact that all of us kind of look at things differently, and that's okay. It's not one way or else, or this way is the only way. I always want to keep that open on this platform, that there's many, many different ways, and we're all different, and we're all searching for, I think, relatively the same thing: love, respect, a little bit of fun, and we want to enjoy life, but we can't do that if we're stuck in a bubble. So here's what I want to get into today. Let's start off a little bit with, just since I'm in the uncomfortable spot, getting uncomfortable, I was going to talk about opening day first, but I'm going to talk about this CrossFit thing first, because this was a great example of me having to get uncomfortable. And I know that this is a mild example. Okay. There's a lot of things that are much more serious than this about getting uncomfortable when we're talking about dealing with death or dealing with addiction straight up, trying not to drink. Like, I understand that. So I want to be open about that and respectful about it. I'm not minimizing anybody out there who's going through something, that's really serious and they're having to get uncomfortable. But I think this example I'm going to give you right now with something that I went through last week is just a general example of getting uncomfortable and saying, fuck it, I'm all in, I'm going for it, and actually just jumping in. So I didn't want to even talk about this because we're just almost about 30 days into it, but Jess and I have been trying out CrossFit, right? We found a really good gym. Thank you, Danny, who is a friend of Jess's that she works with, just to give her a little shout out. She kind of talked to us a little bit, said, hey, I'm going to this great gym in Vacaville. And you guys should come try it out, basically. So we said, you know what? The thing with us was that with the schedule and, work and kids, we knew what we needed to do, but we just didn't have the structure, I guess, to jump in and do it. And so in learning a little bit about CrossFit, about the community involved in it, and then the classes, we can bring the kids, we said, you know what, this thing looks like it's going to work. Let's give it a shot. And so we jumped in at the beginning of March, and it's been absolutely awesome. I'm totally digging it, man. We've been hitting it, 4 times a week and meeting some cool people, eating a lot better, getting in shape, like having some fun with it. I got a lot to learn as far as just some of the exercises and some of the powerlifting stuff, and that stuff will come. I'm not trying to be the best fucking CrossFitter. Okay. I'm 37 years old. I'm pretty sure my time is gone in that, but what I am trying to do is get in some general, decent shape health-wise, both, physically, mentally, emotionally, and health-wise, just as far as eating goes as well. And I will be damned if I'm going to go bust my ass and sweat like a pig and almost pass out for an hour, in a hard ass workout, and then come, home and eat a bunch of garbage, and so there's kind of that balance there that's been working out well. Here's how, the uncomfortableness comes into this. So I think that's just enough up front for me to even admit and say, hey, I'm jumping into another thing, because that's what I honestly feel like. Okay, here's another thing I'm doing. I'm going to try it out, right? I don't know if it's going to stick for 6 months. I really hope, my intentions are that it does, but there's a lot of uncomfortableness in that. And here's what I could have done. Danny could have came over here and said, hey, yeah, I got this CrossFit thing. It's cool. I think you guys would really dig it. Like, just try it out. You can go try it for a week, see if you like it. Getting uncomfortable was, okay, so actually me being uncomfortable in just that thought, new gym, new people, new stuff, there's uncomfortableness right there, right in that moment, and it would have been real easy for me to say, I've heard a lot of dumb stuff about CrossFit. I can get hurt, which you can, no doubt, but don't be trying to overdo it and take it a little bit at a time. Anyways, I'm not a coach. I'm not going to try to get into that aspect of it. But what I'm saying is that I could have made a ton of excuses in that moment why I'm not going to go do CrossFit, why I'm not going to at least give it a shot. How I could get hurt. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have this, that, and the other. I can't. I won't. I'm fine. I'm fucked. Right? That's that mentality. The I'm fine thing I think is a little bit different, but it just felt right to say it right there. So I always love that one too. But I had to get uncomfortable first and foremost in just saying the fact that, yes, I will try CrossFit. Let's go see what it's about. Okay, so I got past that. And how did I do that? I just said, fuck it, I'm all in. I did the same thing with getting sober. I did the same exact thing. And that's what I'm trying to communicate to you listening right now, is that you have to have that mentality. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to go all in and I'm going to do whatever it is that I have to do to at least give this a shot. At least let me try it out. I did the same thing when I got sober. I got so tired and so exhausted of trying to do it and trying and failing. And I never went all in. I was too scared about what people would think, what they would say, how I would feel, how would I deal with life, how would I still have fun, all that stuff. Fuck it all in the neck, as me and my homeboy Justin Moke used to say. Like, I don't care anymore. I'm going for it. And so that's what we did with CrossFit, all right? So let me preface this by saying, like I said, I'm not trying to be the best CrossFitter. I don't know really much about CrossFitting other than it's kicking my ass and it feels great right now, okay? But here's part two to this. So last week, and for you CrossFitters out there, if anyone listens to this does CrossFit, please excuse my verbiage. I'm not an expert in it. I'm a noob. Okay, newbie, as they say, or whatever. I'm new to the shit. I don't know all the stuff. But when I went last Friday, they were doing, is it a preliminary to the CrossFit Games? There was certain heats where people were testing their reps and then they go on. I know they move on and then you can compete. That's the only way I know how to explain it. So one of the cool things about the gym here, and you know what? I should probably plug these guys too. So let me give a little plug to them. It's North Bay. Oh, goodness. Now I'm going to have to look it up real quick because I want to be sure. Where the hell is it? I don't know. North Bay, Vacaville. CrossFit, Vacaville North. Michael is the owner. Cool-ass dude. Want to give them a little love. Appreciate them taking Jess and I in and stuff and being super cool. And we're having a great time, right? So the community aspect of it is cool too. And one thing that I mentioned earlier is we can bring the kids. So Cash last Friday, said, hey, I want to go to CrossFit. And I said, okay, let's go. Well, they were doing the CrossFit games, the heat, getting judged, all that kind of crap. All right. So I go, yeah, okay, I'll go check it out, see what's up, maybe hang out there, having some pizza. The other kids were there running around. Let's get out of the house. Let's go get around some good people, some positivity, and check it out. And I thought, I might get a little workout in or whatever too. So I go there. And to make a long story short, I reluctantly, out of fear, out of being uncomfortable, found myself committed to the very last heat of doing 105 thrusters and 105 pull-ups in a timed fashion. Not only that, with the whole gym surrounding, watching everybody. Okay, I didn't know this. Like I said, this is new for me. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I can't even do 5 pull-ups, but I'm going to sit here and have all these people watching me try to do 105 in this timed fashion. And they break it up. It's like 33, 27, 21, 15, and 9. And so you switch off in that fashion. You do the thrusters and then you do the pull-ups. And I'm completely out of my element. I'm still not in shape. I've only been doing it for 3 weeks. And so I had a decision to make, and I literally thought about this. I could have said, nah, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to look stupid, because I knew I was probably going to look pretty stupid, and I had the opportunity a couple times to say, hey, and I could have easily done this and they would have been cool with it. I'm sure I could have said, hey, I'm really not in shape for this right now. And I really don't, I don't want to get hurt. I can barely do 5 pull-ups, even though we're going to do them assisted off the box, so I'm going to go ahead and sit this one out. And I'll try next time, and that way I'll know a little bit more. I'll be a little more prepared. Though that right there went through my mind multiple times, how I was going to craft and frame up this answer to getting out of doing this, doing this CrossFit heat in front of everybody. So I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't, what are people going to think of me? What are they going to say? Are they going to laugh? Even that, a 37-year-old grown man, are they going to laugh at me? Right? Those are some of the shit that's going through my head. And I sat back for a minute and I really contemplated, not doing it. And finally something clicked and said, no, fuck that. Like, go for it. Get uncomfortable. Get laughed at. Who cares if you look stupid? Like, just go for it and do it. You're going to be happy that you did in the end. I didn't have any expectations. There wasn't any agenda for me. It was just a matter of just saying, fuck it and going for it. I'm going to do what they tell me to do. And I did. I did what they told me to do. They lined me out. They showed me, here's what a thruster looks like. Here's what the assisted pull-up looks like. Go for it. Do as many as you can. So I did. I lasted till so it went 33. I did the first 33 of each. I did the second 27. And then when I got down to 21 to the third phase, and I think we had 20 minutes to do all this. I literally was about to pass out and puke. I couldn't see. I was a mess, and at the same time, it felt great. It felt great that I got uncomfortable, that I made myself do something that was out of my element. And you know what happened? I could feel the growth when I was done, just in me, just in saying, you know what? I don't care, man. You know what happened to everyone else? What did they do? They came up and they said, hey man, good job. Way to jump in there and get after it. Who cares? Like, you did great. Encouragement, build up. And that was just awesome. It was really, really fucking awesome. And that's what I'm talking about when I say, when I tell myself, like, Shane, like, quit. That's why I titled this episode that, like, quit crying and get uncomfortable. I didn't allow myself, the mind, I've talked about that before. I prefaced that the mind is separate from my soul, from my heart, from what I really want to do. The mind is a powerful thing. It's very, very powerful. It's an entity in itself. And when I can get a grasp on that, at least somewhat, at least a little bit of it, and know that mind is so powerful and it's going to try to take me out. It's going to try to trick me out of doing the shit that I can actually do. Man, I can say, mind, shut the fuck up. I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to jump in and go for this. And that's what's going to happen right here. I'm all in, baby. I'm going for it. I'm going to do it. And I don't care if I look stupid. Now, how does this apply to recovery? It's the same concept. It's the same concept. The mind wants to tell us we're weak, wants to tell us we suck, wants to tell us we're not good enough, we're not worthy. We could never live a sober, healthy lifestyle. We could never live a life of recovery. What would our friends say? What would our family say? What would our homeboys say that want to kick it and drag us down and make us feel like shit and do the same thing because misery loves company? That's what I'm talking about. There's a way to overcome that, and you gotta say, fuck it, going all in and get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable. Go for it. I wanted to read a quick article here too that I thought was interesting. That it's funny how stuff finds you sometimes. Do you ever notice that? How, timing of stuff and it just finds you. I was kind of writing some of these show notes out and I don't even know how I came across this. I think I was looking for some other articles on different topics, and it said half of Americans battle gym intimidation, afraid of working out in front of others. Getting to the gym is a task for many adults, but once there, feeling comfortable enough to start working out may be even more of a challenge. A survey of 2,000 Americans found that half expressed fear out of working out in front of others. Yeah, I'm sure I know I have felt that many a times. Here's something that started to make sense to me now. Now with CrossFit, I'm getting a little bit of training, right? Part of the problem is I didn't know what the hell I was doing in the gym. I still don't know half of the stuff that I'm doing when it comes to technique, when it comes to, making sure that I'm using proper form, that I'm not lifting too much weight, that I'm resting, that I'm eating healthy, all that stuff. I'm learning. I wouldn't allow myself to learn before because I was scared to get uncomfortable and have someone tell me what to do and take advice. That's why it was intimidating going into a gym too, because I really didn't know what I was doing. Now, when you know what you're doing, or when you at least have a general concept, a little bit of education about it, it's going to make it a lot easier to show up. Now, switch that over to recovery. When you have a sponsor, when you have a home group meeting, when you have somewhere to go, some people around you that can help build you up, that can help support you, you're going to be that much more in tune and comfortable walking into a meeting, walking into a community of like-minded people, whether it's CrossFit or 12-step or a church meeting or a men's group, or just getting together and kicking it with your buddies who are hanging out for the night, and you can stay sober in that aspect. You're going to educate yourself. That's huge. That's a huge part of breaking that system of being uncomfortable. Now, where am I going with all this? I think I kind of already went to the place. I had a bit of a what are you going to call it? A brain? I hate that saying, a brain fart. I had a brain fart, and I just said it and I hate it. Let me take a drink. Are you guys feeling me on this shit or what though? Are you feeling me on the getting uncomfortable? Like, quit crying and get uncomfortable. Go for it. Who cares what anybody says? Who cares if I fail? I'm going to get back up and do it again. Who cares if I can't finish? I'm going to work harder so I can get closer to the finish line next time. Maybe I still don't finish, but I get a little bit further than last time. What if I look stupid? Who cares? People look stupid all the time. You're only as stupid as you make yourself look. That's it. I'm not weak. It's not weak to ask for help. It's not weak to stand up and say, hey, I need some assistance here. That is strength. There's power in weakness. There's power in vulnerability and saying, I need some help. And that's when you find your true, your true purpose. Like, here's what I'm supposed to do. Now, I want to transition into, I know I said I was going to go to baseball, but I think I'm going to save baseball for last and just share a couple of things about our day at opening day recently. But I also wanted to transition this into skateboarding for a couple of reasons here, because it does have to do with getting uncomfortable. Now, first of all, before we get to that part of it, I found out I ride Mongo. Who knows what Mongo is? Mongo Skateboarding. Okay, so let me set this up a little bit. I've skated since I was a kid. Absolutely love it. I have taken cash out skating recently. I bought I think it's a 975? 9 something, Rob Roscop, like Santa Cruz board. The thing is so fun to ride now at big dad, 37-year-old age, but I can cruise around with cash at the skate park, and the thing just carves good. It's so much fun. Okay, when I started skating back when I was, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, somewhere around there, I started skating with my right foot in the back so I put my right foot on the back of the board. I push with my left foot, and then I transition. I'm sorry. I put my right foot on the board, like in the middle of the board, and then I push with my left foot, and then I have to transition my feet where my back foot, my right foot, is now towards the back of the board because my push foot, I come up and I put up front, and it's super awkward. I could never figure out why I rode like that. It's just how I've ridden. I've tried to ride goofy. I've tried to ride regular. I couldn't do it because I was already trained on how to do that since I was 8 years old. And so I always knew that there was something wrong with that. I never knew until this last weekend that there was a fucking name for it. Can you believe that? And those of you who know, you're probably like, yeah, you're dumb, Shane. Like, how could you not know that? Well, I've ridden like that for 29 years, I guess. And I never knew. So we're at my sister's, my sister's house for my niece Gianna's first birthday, which was beautiful, by the way. Had a great time hanging with all the family. And we're out front, and my little cousin Nolan is there, who I mentioned is is blind, can't see, but it just shreds an R on the skateboard. Him and Cash, the girls, my daughter, the mom. I mean, everybody, the whole family's out there. We're skating in the court. Everything's, we're having a good time and stuff. And I can't remember the dude's name that came out. I forgot. I believe it's our friend Rob's son. But he goes, "Hey bro, you ride," I think he called it mongoose at first. He goes, "You ride mongoose." And I go, what the fuck is that? I go, "Mongoose." And he goes, "Yeah, you have your right foot back and then you push with your left and then you switch when you get on the board." And I go, "Dude," I didn't know there was a name for that. I said, I've ridden like that forever and it's always been really awkward." And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Let me look this up. So me and my cousin Jared and I are just like kind of cracking up, and I go, "Okay, let's go look up." Well, it turns out it's called Mongo, right? And I found this article I wanted to touch on real quick, and then we're going to talk about Nolan and stepping out, getting uncomfortable, skateboarding blind. Okay. So here's what Mongo is. It says we've all, and this is titled Mongo and its importance to skateboarding. We've all ridiculed a Mongo pusher. If you haven't, you're either the nicest skateboarder in the world, a liar, or you're a Mongo pusher yourself. It's amazing that just a few centimeters of difference in foot placement is enough to automatically put you in one of the most ridiculed categories of skateboarding, and yet is one of the unwritten laws of wood pushing that everyone seems to adhere to. Urban Dictionary has found this definition for the Mongo push. Okay, so here we go. A stupid way to skateboard. A person skates Mongo if they use their leading foot, the foot that is in the front while riding, to push. While they're pushing, their back foot stays near the rear of the board and they push with their front foot. And then they give an example. They give an example of using Mongo in a sentence, and it goes, "No wonder Stu can't learn that trick. Dude's pushing Mongo." And me and Jared are just freaking cracking up as we're reading this shit, right? Because I'm realizing, like, dude, you're a dumbass who pushes Mongo. And at the same time, I'm thinking, well, it's kind of cool. Fuck it. I push Mongo. Like, whatever, bro. That's just what I do. I've always done it. It goes on to say, for an activity where the majority of people who engage in and pride themselves on how free, expressive, and creative it is, there certainly seems to be a lot of discrimination in the terms of how to do things properly, and pushing 7 plies of wood on 4 wheels in a certain way is one of them. Whether it's Mongo pushing, mall grabbing, yo flipping, or any other of the unanimously decided anti-aesthetic motions, we've all discriminated against something in one way or another, and we all continue to do so because it's in our DNA, which I would 100% agree to. It's sad, but it's kind of part of talking shit and having a little bit of fun too, I feel like. But have you ever stopped to think about if any of these defects have any importance to skateboarding? And as far as Mongo goes, the answer is absolutely yes. The Mongo push or the Mongo motion is the basis of at least 4 specific examples. Before I go on, let me give you the article to this too. This comes from cheffamily.com. It's cheffamily.com/Mongo and its importance to skateboarding. So if you wanted to look this article up, I want to make sure that I give credit to the writer here. But the Mongo push or the Mongo motion is the basis of at least 4 specific examples. Dropping in. There's a moment before every drop in where you're standing comfortably on the deck in a proud Mongo stance, and no one feels uncomfortable or calls you out on it. It's one of the most basic and important things that you have to know in order to skateboard properly. Boneless one. By simply adding a pre-grab and awkward Mongo push can be transformed into a powerful boneless, bro. The Madonna Air, basically a Mongo push grab in the air. And then the no comply, currently considered one of the most stylish tricks in skateboarding, and probably one of the hardest to do as well. There's a video on here too. And then to end with it, it says the Mongo push will always be considered unsightly and cringeworthy, but must we acknowledge that the fact that a few of skateboarders' oldest roots are firmly set in the Mongo soil. So I've been cruising around, the skate parks at 37 in the last couple of weeks and actually last month or two, because it's been raining so much out here, pushing Mongo around the skate park, knowing that I ride weird, but having a good time. And who really fucking cares, right? Like, I don't care. I really don't. But it is definitely hilarious to find that out. Like, wow, there's a thing for it. So if you ride Mongo, hit me up and tell me, bro, I ride Mongo too. That would be so ridiculous. I would love that. But to the point of skateboarding and getting uncomfortable, back on topic here real quick, okay? Little cousin Nolan. He's got a video up on, I think I shared it on Instagram. So you can go back and you can find it on Instagram account at @RealThatSoberGuy. I think it has over 90 or 100,000 views on it of him skateboarding blind. Okay. And this dude has no fear. Absolutely no fear. You want to talk about being uncomfortable. Next time you think that you can't do something, okay, or that you don't want to do something, or you're scared of what people will think, or you're scared that people might judge you or tell you that you're going to fail or tell you that you're not good enough or that you're not worthy, go grab a skateboard, put a blindfold on, and then go out in your front street and ride around and see how long you last. That's proof right there. Okay, that's proof right there that getting uncomfortable is scary, no doubt, but at the same time, anything is possible. If my little cousin, I think Nolan's nine or 10, right around there, can skateboard in the street blind and shred, it's unbelievable, man. And just, we love that little dude so much. We just admire him. And he's such an example of, such an example to other people of how we can learn to face adversity and just say, like, screw this. Like, you're not going to stop me. No. Yeah. I got to know here. I got to know there. I got to know there. Everyone's telling me I can't do something. Like, I don't care what you say. I'm going to go for it. I am going to go for it and I'm going to do it. That right there is enough to just say, like, man, quit crying and get uncomfortable, right? Like, just go for it. Go for that sobriety if that's what you're going for. Go for, set a goal for yourself. Go for 30 days. Go for one day. Fuck that. Let's start with one day. Go for one day. If you're out there right now and you're going, man, I don't even know how to do this. Tomorrow, I'm going to start. Hell, today. Don't even wait for tomorrow. Just right now in this moment, I'm going to stop right here. If I'm drinking right now, I'm going to put it down. And I'm going to go from here. I'm going to try one day and I'm going to start there. And that's really all you can do. And that's going to be a bit uncomfortable. But guess what? When you're doing that, when you go for it, stuff will start to fall into place if you're doing the right things. I promise, because I know, because it's happened to me and it's happened to many of my friends, many of my friends inside and outside of recovery, and my family at that. You just got to go for it. So much love to little Nolan and much love to my son Cashy Boy too. Him and Nolan just skated out there, and Lucy and Madeline too, man, and my whole family. Shoot, let's bust it out to the whole damn fam right now, right? I mean, why not? We got to show our fam some love. We had a beautiful time and just really enjoyed it. And back to what I was saying earlier about the Casey the Fuckets and stuff like that. Those moments, that's really what's important. I'm realizing, those moments, that time spent, that love, that's all. The other stuff is just like, is it really that important? It's just stuff. Like, it'll work out. It'll work out as long as I'm doing the best right thing. And same for you. Shit will work out as long as you're putting one foot in front of the other and doing the next right thing. So let's go ride Mongo, bro. Yeah. Hell yeah. We had the pizza guy show up. I think I posted that video too on Instagram. We were skating out there and Domino's showed up, bro. Ooh, dude, we're just skating and grabbing some pizza. I'm trying to find a copy of Gleaming the Cube, by the way. If anybody's seen that, one of the best skate movies of all time in the 80s with Christian Slater, called Gleaming the Cube. That is the best. And I think I did find I don't know if it was a bootleg on Amazon, but I'm one of those type of freaks that wants like the original first pressing or printing or whatever it's called in the video industry. I want like one of the originals, and I've been looking for one of those. So if you find one, let me know. Mongo, bub. Let's talk a little bit about opening day, and we'll wrap this thing up about getting uncomfortable and going for it. So I recently took Cash to opening day. We had a damn good time. let's see, Oakland played Anaheim. They ended up winning, which was great. Cash had a hot dog, nachos, a churro, cotton candy, and this dude learned how to chew on some barbecue sunflower seeds, which was great. So I got to watch him chewing on some seeds. Good times right there. Now, here's why I'm bringing this up. Number one, we had a good time. It was fun, but it was so nice to enjoy the game with my son, not concerned about when I would go have to get a beer or how I could get more beer or how I was going to drive home because I was so hammered. Let me be sure and say, I'm not talking about anybody who goes to a ball game and has a beer or two. More power to you if that's what you do. And you can do that. I think it's phenomenal. That's a good time. I know I could never do that. And I'm talking more or less about, guys like me who get, can't have one or two beers, who get wasted at the game and then drive home with their kids. Cause I've done it before and I'm not, proud to admit that, but it was so nice, to go and to not even have that be an issue. The worst thing we did was eat a bunch of junk food, which I mentioned earlier, and hey, we had a damn good time. And just spending that time together was so nice where I'm not preoccupied with, how I was going to be able to drink and get away with it. We watched the game. Chris Davis, man, just hit a mammoth shot to left field, like up in the upper deck, which was super exciting. I think that was Cash's first home run that he had seen. Actually, I think Simeon hit one before that to center. So maybe that was the first one. But in any case, two great, home runs hit, lots of action, rally towels swinging, just creating those memories with my son was a beautiful thing. And if you're listening out there and you have kids, I just want to encourage you, and I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm simply encouraging through my own experiences. I'm realizing how important those moments are. And when we can spend those moments with our kids without any substances involved and not any other outside distractions or agendas, that time, we never get that time back. That's one thing I've realized too, how valuable, you can have all the money in the world, but you know what you don't have all of in the world is time. Time is the most valuable thing. And when we're spending time with our kids, especially, it's so valuable to be in the moment and to be there with them. And hey, am I perfect at it? I'm not. One of the things I need to work on and that I'm trying to work on is being on my phone too much, It's a distraction. I think I mentioned this a couple of podcasts ago about I've really considered lately going back to a flip phone, just where if you need to get a hold of me, you can. And I'm still debating it. And that's a hard transition for me, especially with the work that I do. But it's something that I am considering because the more I do this kind of stuff with my kids, whether it's a baseball game or a dinner or a walk or whatever it is, that time is so valuable. And I just want to make sure that I'm in the moment in all of that. Now, Chris on Instagram commented, I posted a couple of pictures up there. If you're interested, go to the Instagram @RealThatSoberGuy, check those out. But Chris commented on there. He said, how many grown men with gloves did you see? And I had a feeling someone might ask this, and I actually thought about it when I was there yesterday too. So let me preface this real fast for those of you who didn't catch the last couple of episodes, because I mentioned grown men with the glove game. Now, when I go to baseball games, and I'll keep this short for those of you who have heard it, when I go to baseball games, I have this thing about grown men with gloves. Now, here it is. If you're a grown man with a glove, you should be embarrassed. Okay. You have one option, one pass, should I say. If you have a kid with you, if you have your son or your nephew, or you have a group of kids, maybe you're there with a baseball team, bunch of kids, and you got your glove, totally cool. You get a pass, okay? But if you're there and you're a grown man with a glove at a baseball game, especially if you're trying to get other grown men who throw a ball for a living to sign that shit, there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry. That's just hilariously funny and weird to me. So grown man with a glove game came out of that thought, as well as grown man with another grown man's name on the back of his jersey is something that is weird for me too. I'll never, ever do that. Not that I haven't done it before. I have. So I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't admit to that. I don't do it anymore. Not because I'm better, because I think I'm great, or because of any of that shit. I just think it's really odd to wear another man's name on your back. Like, why would you do that? Buy a jersey that's blank on the back if you want to support the team, but wearing another man's name on it is fucking weird to me. So how many grown men did I see, Chris, yesterday? I saw 6 grown men with gloves. And here's a funny story. One of them happened to be sitting right next to Cash, and I didn't realize it at the time, and this was great. So they hit a foul ball. Chapman plays third base for the A's. Someone hit a foul ball. He went to throw the ball into the crowd right behind the dugout, and there was 2 grown men with gloves who fought over this ball. Well, before it got to him, they were both fighting to catch it. Okay, it was just a little lob. A little lob. You could have caught it with one bare hand at that. They both stick their gloves out, and the ball hits off one of the gloves and goes down. And immediately myself and everybody else in the stadium, boo! They start booing them, right? Which was comedy. 2 grown men with gloves get booed. Okay, you dropped the ball. What is wrong with you? So as I'm booing, I'm also saying, grown men with a glove and you still dropped it. only to my embarrassment or comedy, depending on how you want to look at it. I kind of felt a little bit of both as I looked to the right of Cash, and grown man with a glove was sitting right next door. So he didn't really say anything. I kind of quieted up because I didn't want to sound like an asshole. Because of course that's not my intention. It's just a little game. I do think it's funny, but I would never be a literal dick to someone over that. But it was funny. And here's my point to that. You don't need a glove. You're a grown man. Catch that shit with your bare hands. If you get a foul ball, you catch it with your bare hands, maybe take your hat off. I don't know. But had they not had the gloves, either one of them could have reached out with one hand and caught that shit. Much better than trying to use a glove with it. So it was pretty funny. Chris, 6 grown men with gloves we saw. Pretty hilarious. Damn, we had a good time. Cash ate a bunch of cotton candy and had fun. Good times. Man, I can't say enough about what it is to be able to get to spend some quality time with your son. I realize how important dads are to their boys. And here's something Jess pointed out to me last night, and then I'm going to wrap this thing up here. When we went to bed, Cash, a couple times during the game, he said, man, just me and my dad hanging out at the game, man. And it's so sweet. Right. And I was telling Jess this, and she goes, well, like why he kind of says that. Right. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, he's excited and he's pumped. And she pointed out, how he understands how much not only it means to him, that how much of a good time he has and he's hanging out with his dad. He also understands how important it is to me to spend this time with him, and how much that I love him, and that I love being with him and doing these things together, and not being preoccupied with other stuff. Like all attention is on him and the game and bonding together. And, that to me, is just, it almost like, I guess it kind of blows me away just to think that at 4 years old, he kind of grasped a little bit of that, and is so astute enough to say like, hey, like dad, like, yeah, just me and my dad here. I'm so glad, to thank me. He thanked me multiple times yesterday. Thanks, Dad, for taking me out. He's 4. Like, I just feel like that is such a good thing. And through all the dumb shit I've done and messed up things I've done and unperfectness, Jess and I are doing something right with these kids, and we're doing the best that we can do. And I want to encourage that to all you other parents out there who have done, maybe shit's not perfect for you. Maybe things, aren't always going your way. Maybe you've done some things in the past that you're just, you wish you could take back, or you regret, or, you wish you could have been there more. You wish that, that things could be different. And, here's the thing, like we can't change any of the things that we did in the past, but what we can change is what we're doing right now. We can change how we move forward. We can change, the things that help build us up. We can change, putting things in place that help us grow, getting uncomfortable, stepping out into uncomfortableness in order to grow and show our kids that it's okay to do that. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be, to have a little bit of anxiety. It's okay to jump out and try something new, even if we're not the best at it. You know, we get so used to being the best at things that we want to stick with what we know. And that's fine, being the best at something, but at the same time, how do we continue to grow from that? You know, for me, I want to be trying new shit. You know, I want to be trying new things. So I hope you guys got something out of this today. You know, I'm really enjoying doing the podcast. I'm doing a lot of solo stuff lately, just to mention this, too, just because, you know, it's a lot to book guests and, you know, to put in pre-production time and all that stuff. And it seems right now in the moment, which I really do try to live by, that this is where I want to be. Right now, we're going to have some more guests coming up soon, so don't trip if that's your thing. If you like the guests more than hearing my, you know, ass yap for an hour or whatever, but we'll definitely be doing that. Look out for the live shows coming up. If you're in the Bay Area, Sacramento area at Journey Coffee, the next one is April 6th. Let's see what else. If you want more information about the live event down in San Diego, if you're in that area and you'd like to come out and check it out, you can go to foundationsevents.com. That's April 16th through the 19th or the 20th, I think, at Hotel Del Coronado. Quit crying and get uncomfortable. Like, ask yourself that today. How are you going to get uncomfortable today? What are you going to do that makes yourself uncomfortable, that you know that you can grow out of to keep moving forward on a different path, on a different trajectory in your life? Try something new. Really want to encourage y'all to do that today. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, check us out at thatsoberguy.com. You can connect with us on Instagram at realthatsoberguy, on Twitter at Shane Raymer. Thanks to Foundations again for supporting us. Thanks to Humans Music for supporting us. We love you guys. Peace, love, and respect. Keep your blood clean.
Keep my head on straight. I've been trying to keep my head on straight. You still say that I don't know anything about you. Oh, I don't know anything about you, but I know what you do in the back room. Say that I don't know anything about you. Oh, I don't know anything about you, but I know what you do in the